Take me home, I wanna know if you're down, ready to go. Wanna fly away with you, float away, fly away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Roadshow. I am your host, Jacob Rhodes, and tonight I am joined by the lovely Kayty Banks.
Thank you for having me.
No worries at all. This has been a pleasure up until this point, and I feel like it's going to continue as a pleasure. How have you been?
Good. Busy, like the saying, booked and blessed. So
Yes.
booked but fucking tired. So
Yeah. You've been pumping out shows like every week.
yeah, at the moment I'm doing 5 nights a week, which is like obviously the goal. But now that I'm there, it's fucking exhausting. So
Is that placement all in one place?
No.
Oh, okay.
So I'm really lucky to be all over, which is like, again, the kind of dream. I never really wanted to be like a DJ who only played in one venue.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm super lucky to be as booked as I am. It is just exhausting and like emotionally and physically does catch up to you. So
Are you feeling it's like the late nights and stuff, or is it just like the workload?
I think just the need, like nobody wants to see a DJ who's tired. So it's like constantly being on. Even like there's one of those nights where I'll only do like a 2-hour set, which is fine. But to need to be at 100 for those 2 hours is exhausting in itself. Like sometimes that is more exhausting than like a 7-hour set on a Saturday night. So it really does, like, you just always need to be on, and it's very like physically demanding because people always want to see a show. It's not just like, it's not a luxury of like just pressing play and like seeing what happens. It's like a real performance. And if it isn't that, then they're going to get someone who does deliver that. So
What's the turnover like for that? Is it crazy?
for DJs?
Yeah, like if somebody doesn't perform, is it just like get a new one?
It depends per venue. Also, like who is the booker? It depends on like I don't think it would be someone's had a bad night and they're gone.
Yeah, okay.
I think
but
there's
like if it was reoccurring kind of thing, yeah.
Generally, I think you would get some warnings, but then I also think there's no way that could come as a shock to someone if they're not performing. Like you've got to know that you're not delivering. So that's why we get paid so well. It's like not just there to push buttons. It's like you're there to like look good, to be entertaining. It's like a whole package. It's not just like, you know, a Spotify.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people just stay at home and do that.
Yeah, no shit, right? And like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Right? And those motherfuckers are boring as batshit, and you know who you are. But like with the nightclub scene, since Perth has been like opened up again, have you noticed that there's been like, were we easing back into it, or was everyone just like, we're ready to go?
I think because there's been so many start and stops, there's definitely been periods where it has been like everybody's like raging and lining up for fucking hours. When Magnet House reopened and it was like 3 hours or something to line up to get in. That was insane. It really depends, per shutdown. They all change. And depending as well what the restrictions are, like I would say masks off wasn't that much of a big deal to people. I think people just stopped giving a fuck about it and they were like, it is what it is. Every interval is different. If it's like a lockdown and then we reopen, it's always a rager. But also there's only so many people in Perth that go out. So just because it's a rager in one venue doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate across the board. But I'm really lucky that all of the venues that I work in are really like kind of like the prestigious venues, I guess, in Perth, or like the top kind of tier venues of Perth. So I'm like beyond lucky for that. But
so where are you placed at the moment?
So I'm at the Court, Magnet House, the Old Synagogue, Avenue.
The old synagogue is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a rager. Like it is an absolute fucking rager. So that, it's stunning. Just started doing Milky Lane, so that's sick.
They only just opened up, right?
Yeah. So I just played the opening, I think it was like 2 nights ago now.
Yeah, right. Nice.
So I think that's all my residencies. Then I do like obviously like random sets all over. So
Oh, nice.
But those are my mains.
So in the way of like your random sets, are you doing many parties and like?
No. I don't have the time to do like private events or like private parties. I'm not an events DJ, so I'm not someone who like say you've got like a ball coming up. I'm more than likely not going to be DJing there. I'm pretty much like clubs, festivals, that kind of vibe.
Yeah, of course.
Which I'm like, again, really thankful for. I've been like so beyond blessed to be where I am at, considering the time frame that I have been DJing for. I don't think I've ever actually DJed a house party.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
Because it means you're like, I mean, I don't mean to say it's not cool not like to be doing that.
Yeah.
But like aspirations to being like wanting to be on a festival stage and stuff.
Yeah.
That's an awesome trait to have. Like.
Yeah. I played my first festival within a year of starting DJing. So
shit.
yeah, I was really, really lucky.
What festival was it?
Seasons.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah. But I am really lucky because I kind of did my time beforehand managing nightclubs. So I already had all of my connections sorted out. It's not like I just decided one day I wanted to be a DJ and it all happened for me.
Oh, so it was
I had years.
transitional.
Yeah, I had years of
That's cool.
years of connections made so that when I did transition, it was a lot easier for me to get into different venues than it was, say, like it would be today for someone who is like, I want to be a DJ. How do I do that? And then learning how to do it, like managing clubs for 7 years, I was always around DJs. I was very aware of what we kind of wanted from a venue's point of view because I would always be the one telling them. So then when it would come into DJing and I would have meetings with venues and they'd be like, this is what we want, I'd be like, I get it. Like, I get not every song is a banger. You want to have shit songs so that they go to the bar. You want to have, like, obviously, like, your current stuff, but you want to have, like, your retro stuff so you're appealing to all the crowds. Like, I get it. So...
Damn, I wouldn't even think, like... I would be like, banger, 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 banger.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you've got to do... you've got to, like, give the bar a chance as well to make money because at the end of the day, it's a business. It's not, people aren't coming to listen to you play Fisher losing it on rotation like they would, but that venue's going to close down.
Yeah.
So it's about what you can do to help
Banger,
the venue
by the
make
way.
money. Oh, still a banger, and still goes off. I don't think it ever will stop.
No. And that dude's loose as fuck. Shout out Fisher.
Wild. But it's the same. Like people aren't paying like Fish to rock up and just press play and like he's bored. It's like they're paying for the performance and like what he brings to it.
Yeah. That's some wild knowledge that you're throwing out there. Even like for people that are like already in that scene, you know?
Yeah.
That's because like if you're a DJ and you're trying to get out there and like trying to get like maybe into a club or something like that and you're throwing banger after banger after banger, it doesn't really give much, like people get tired of dancing eventually.
They really do. And it's the same for new DJs who will do like an opening set of a venue and they'll just go like balls to the wall. And it's like, that's not what that time slot is allocated for. That time slot is allocated for opening the venue, easing into it so that unfortunately you may not be the DJ that they've hired for the night to play those bangers. But it doesn't mean that if you can't open successfully that one day you won't get there. It's just you've got to do your time and make sure that you're playing appropriately for that time slot. And you've kind of got to go into it and be like, okay, what am I trying to achieve? Am I trying to get a dance floor? Maybe not. Okay, cool. So I'm going to play the tracks accordingly.
Damn, Kayty. That's insane.
Smarter than I look.
I wouldn't even think that there's like that much to it, you know?
It's very thorough and you've got to get it. And if you don't get it, then you're going to be one of the DJs that pops up and then is gone.
Yeah,
which everybody sees. From when I started, there's very few DJs who are still around.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Because I've seen some DJs just die. Their careers just take a tumble. Yeah. And like when you're partying with them and stuff, it's like, whoa, this is actually awesome, you know? Yeah. But I guess it needs to facilitate to the venue's needs as well. Like they need to make money. If people are too preoccupied dancing and it's actually, what was that bar back in Amber? AM bar or whatever it was called.
That was actually where I like first started working in nightclubs was Amber.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I miss that place so much. Like the underground scene was so cool. Like I think it was rated as like one of the number one clubs in Australia at one point, just because of like, I know there was like crazy, like all sorts of shit happening in that club, but it was the fact that they were reaching kind of like just outside of the commercial sound. You know, like they had dubstep and all that kind of stuff and D&B nights and all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
But it really created a hub for young people to like go out and have something different rather than just commercial like stuff that's being played on the radio and then mixed and then like we're just spitting out the same shit that's on the radio.
Yeah.
What are you like finding within the scene right now that's really taking like a I don't want to give away all your secrets or anything, but like have you noticed any kind of like genres of music that are really taking over in the scene of 2022?
It's really difficult for me because I am a commercial DJ.
Yeah, okay.
So I pretty much just play commercial, which I know a lot of people would say that's selling out, but that to me that's paying the bills, and that's like I'm getting booked 5 nights a week. Unfortunately,
you're not selling out, you're buying in.
Well, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say, you know, it'd be great to play other genres that are a little more niche, but you're not going to get booked 5 nights a week to do that. Yeah. I would say there isn't a night where I don't get requests for drum and bass. However, when I've run events and I've had drum and bass rooms, no one rocks up. So it's like, I feel like it's almost like the cool thing to say and be like, oh yeah, well, it's sick, we love drum and bass. It's like, all right, show up for it. Like, why aren't you doing that? There's, you know, how many events do you see pop up where they're like, we are a drum and bass event. They have one and then they go under.
Gone.
And you're like, oh, what happened to that? They had like maybe cool marketing or something. Or you'll like rock up and it's not actually that genre. It's like it hasn't been working. So they start going slowly into commercial because that's what like creates a dance floor. It's like truly is such an achievement to have like a night that works and like have a cult like following behind it. Like, you know, Geisha's been around for fucking ever.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing that it has such an amazing following. Habitat, you know, like even Movement that's got like such a following at the moment, and like the shows that they've been doing at the court have been insane. Or like Jeff at Inhibit, like fucking Inhibit goes off. Like insane. Like if you can feel like Metro City, and they're like Metro City has some fucking levels, like, and they're packing out like
4
every
levels,
fucking levels. It's like, and there's so many like side levels and like, you know, balconies to balconies.
Didn't
it's
they
like,
just have a show there?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, a couple weekends or last weekend.
I think last weekend. Yeah.
I saw like the stories on Instagram. From it. It's just wild.
Yeah,
and like
so,
on either, like you said, on either side, it was all
like
packed.
fills out.
Yeah.
So it's like amazing versus like, you know, there's events that are there. I would say Metro City generally has events a lot at the moment, especially like not every event is of the like level as Inhibit is, but it's also Metro City. I mean, I've never DJ'd there, but it'd be an amazing venue to play at, but it's also incredibly evident to see if it's dead. Like if you can only feel one level, man, that would feel like shit.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think a lot of promoters are like biting off more than they can chew perhaps, but like once you get to that level of like Inhibit, I'll be like, fuck, this is incredible.
How long have they been at it?
I couldn't tell you. And I genuinely don't get to go to a lot of events because I'm working all the time. So I don't think I've actually ever been to a Habitat, or I don't think I've ever been to an Inhibit.
I've been to an Inhibit. It's wild.
Oh.
Yeah, it's wild.
The stories are insane, and I'm just like, watching them from the sideline, like playing like Nicki Minaj Starship, like on repeat. Like, yeah, sick. One day I'll get there.
Yeah.
But
baby steps. But you've been at it for, you were saying earlier on, 10 years?
Yeah, so 10 years, 7 years managing clubs and like doing like, I started off as a door girl, or like my first, so I'm like mostly will never escape like working at Air and Midnight Club. Like that will just follow me around forever.
Yeah.
But before that, I was the girl that worked at Amber that would walk around with like the like, fuck, what was it? Like
VIP?
no, not even the VIP. The like, please sign this so they don't turn our bar into a car park. So I was like, literally like the girl that would walk around, and I ended up getting fired because I didn't realize that the slip had two sides. And I was like walking around, then like being like, oh, hey, I've like done such a sick job. And they're like, where's the other side? I'm like, what other
shit.
side? So I learnt my lesson pretty quickly. But I was also like a young idiot. So it is what it is.
We all have that stage. Don't judge yourself.
Yeah. Then, yes, it was like pressing for venues to hire me because I was a beautician who couldn't pay their rent. And I just really needed like extra cash. Then, yeah, I got a job at Air as a door girl. They thought that I was funny on the internet, so they asked me to be a promoter. Then,
Perfect.
yeah, that turned into like marketing manager, promotions manager, like door manager, did all the bottle service and like created that like business model of like how we ran bottle service and everything. Had other venues hitting me up
It's a
of
very
like
LA style thing to introduce into a club.
yes, but also like if we had have started bottle service when we initially wanted to, which was like 3 years before, it would have like popped off. Like
right.
it would have been insane. To my knowledge, I can't remember if Butterfly started bottle service before Air did.
Wait, hold on. Was Butterfly open when Air was open? Like,
Air's still open.
I know Air's still open. It's under new management now, right?
I couldn't tell you.
I think it is. Sorry, Air Nightclub, if you're not. But how long has Butterfly been open for?
I don't know, actually.
I
A
thought
few
it was only,
years.
a few years, right? But Air, like, I remember.
Because Air just had their 10th birthday.
Did they?
Yeah.
What was Air before it was Air?
Rise.
Rise.
Yeah.
That was a cooker place.
Yeah.
That was full of what do they call them? Fat pants.
Yeah. Yeah, fat
Literally.
pants. Fuck, I
Fat
haven't heard that
pants
term in so long.
Yeah, and stomping.
Yeah, different time.
Different time, right? But that's
Yeah.
kind of like the evolution of like the nightlife. Like back then, we didn't really have Facebook and all that kind of. Well, we did, but it wasn't like
MySpace.
it was MySpace and stuff, right? And everybody had like their own little niche of like what you liked, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And there was pockets to the city, kind of thing. Like I know that like Fremantle and all that kind of stuff. That was like hard style and all that kind of shit. But then in the city, it was like more techno and like, you know, it
Yeah.
was like weird kind of mixing.
And there was also no train lines. So it was like when you, and no Uber. So when you made the decision of like, I'm going out to Fremantle, you were going out to Fremantle. You're not like,
going anywhere else.
yeah, you are not club hopping. It's like, that's where you're going.
Yeah.
And the same for Northbridge. And like Northbridge had like half the amount of venues that it does now.
Yeah.
But all of the venues were fucking packed. So even I remember it was like you went to the city, and if you went to Shape, it was like a massive thing because Shape's in East Perth versus Northbridge. So even that was like a trek. It was just like a different time of like nightclubs in their like elite phases.
Yeah. There's always been a progression in like wherever like where music goes, there's always going to be progression. And when there's like people trying to make money from the music, there's always, make money in general, there always gets pushed towards what gets the most money, right? In this day and age, are you finding like the commercial side is like pushing the hardest? We have very little cops walking a beat. Like there's in Melbourne and Sydney, they actually have beat cops. Like they'll have like in Fortitude Valley in Brisbane, they have beat stations like where there's like small, like on every street, there's like small little stations where like a bunch of beat cops, which are cops that walk around and police the people that are also walking around. We don't have much of that. We have like cops on bicycles, cops on horses, so they're mobile, but you know, like it's like the small interactions and stuff like that. And you are right. I've even seen it myself, like young people.
Yeah, they have no fear because they know that they know that you can't do anything to them.
You can't even lock them up.
Even we would have at different venues like that I've worked at, underage kids coming through with drugs in their bags, and you'd be like, can I do a bag check? And they'd open their bag, show that they've got drugs in there and know that you can't touch them. and be like, you just have to be like, well, you can't come in. And they're like trusting that you either won't call the cops, which they know they're not going to come. They know that if you do call them, the chances of them getting there before they can run away. Yeah. But there's also venues that are known for accepting fake IDs. And fake IDs are amazing at the moment. Like they're $150 online. They look exactly like a license. There's no way that you would be able to tell that it's fake. Like it's insane. So the resources that underage kids have these days and the awareness that they're untouchable is scary. Like I remember being underage trying to get into the Dean and shitting myself and being like, if this ID that doesn't look like me gets taken off me, my only option is to cause a scene because then maybe they'll give it back to me.
Yeah.
And I remember having it taken off me and me being like, that's definitely fucking me. And then them being like, I will literally call the cops on you. And I'm shitting myself. I'm just being like, well, don't know how I'm going to tell that person that I've lost their license, but I have. And here we are. And then like even like passing licenses down and being like, all right, I'm going to go use, like I've gotten in, I'll meet you in the smoking area. I'll pass it through the fence, like stuff like that. Like, I mean, you can't really do that now because there's ID checks and like fingerprints and all this kind of stuff. So it was a different time, but there was definitely the level of fucking fear. Also, like I think it was far more common for like kids to get bashed in blind spots, like back in those times. It's pretty difficult now to do stuff like that. It definitely does still happen, but yeah, it was a different time.
Yeah, that's one thing that I watched the movie Superbad the other day, and like he pulls out the ID and it says McLovin on it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, what has like IDs gotten to? Like,
oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You could, because I wanted to get one that said that I was 18, just so that I could like have it on me for like a novelty.
Yeah.
And so that I could like, because at the time I was running, or one of the like many like factors of my business, Banks & Co, is supplying door girls to venues. So I always wanted to have something on hand so that when they're checking IDs, which like in some venues they do because they're short staffed and whatever, or for whatever reason they've got to pull someone up for something else. It's just a time killer to be like, oh, let's just like check your ID. Or if they're telling people to get their ID out to tell security, because legally security is supposed to be the only people to check them, then so that they're aware of what they're looking at, or like so that say like just in case you've got a young security guard who doesn't know what they're doing or isn't as experienced, that they can be like, hey, actually, did you see this factor on it? Or
yeah, right. Fuck.
Yeah, but they're incredible. Like after this, I'll send you the website because it's like, it's wild. And it's wild that there's a website.
Yeah.
I would think that this is like,
website?
I would think that this is black market shit, but it's not. It's so readily available for people.
I'm going to get one that says McLovin on it with my face on it, and I'm going to put it right here.
Yeah.
Literally. That's wild. That is wild.
Yeah.
$150.
$150.
And you can go out whenever you want.
Well, I mean, within reason, because I think it's lucky now that a lot of venues are doing things like
Scantech and all.
Not even Scantech, but like Metro's Freo and Paramount, where they've got fingerprints, and it's like you have to connect it.
Was there worries of the COVID vaccination cards being like brought in as like the ID thing?
I don't know about them being brought in as an ID thing. Like, to my knowledge, it had to be proven with like against your card, or like you bring it up on your phone. But fake COVID vaccines for sure. Like when it first happened, I reckon every third person would have had a fake COVID like vaccine, and it's like I would be shitting myself.
Many people to get one.
I would be shitting myself if I had a fake.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
Because it's like, I think it was like, it's a massive fine.
Huge. It's $20,000 per person or something.
I can't remember what it was, but it was like massive. Like I think someone was even like possibly doing jail time or something because they like had their brothers or something at the casino. Like
what the
just
fuck?
Wild. So that's wild.
Crazy.
But I would be so scared. But like kids these days, like 18-year-olds, when I say kids these days, have no fucking fear.
No.
Like
none at all.
It's below, like I'm almost jealous of the audacity that they have, because I'm like, if I had that confidence, like I almost aspire to have the level of confidence of an 18-year-old with like a fake vax card. Like I just can't relate.
Yeah. See, I've The two things that I don't understand is, like, in this day and age that we're in right now, is one is NFTs, because what the fuck are they? And the second thing is, like, the craziness of young people. They're so, and this is a blanket statement and I mean to do this, they are so, like, influenced by influence, right? Like, they want to get the like, they want to get all the comments and, like, the Tekashi 6ix9ine drama because it fucking blows you up, right?
Yeah.
But, like, even aside from that, like, I heard a fucking story of a kid. It was all over the news, actually. It was a kid in, like, the Sydney Royal Show, I think it was, who stabbed another kid for a Royal Show bag to death.
Stop.
He died. Yeah. And then behind the scenes, I heard wind, because, like, through the grapevine, that it was actually that kid stabbed that other kid's brother so that he stabbed him back. And we're talking school kids. We're talking school kids.
So heartbreaking. So heartbreaking. But, like, that's just being a product of your environment.
Like, right?
You don't, and I think also, like, it comes down to you making a choice.
But what's the environment? Like, everybody in their fucking dogs right now is trying to be a rapper and trying to push that hard, you know, like that lifestyle kind of thing, you know?
I think everyone is pushing to have an audience. It's like we are currently in a, like, I feel like the current generation is like a generation of oversharers. And it's like, who's watching?
Yeah, right.
It's like you're not just going to see your friends. It's like you're like, oh, let's go make content. Like, whether it's doing a TikTok dance, whether it's doing like a day in a life vlog, like, everybody wants to feel famous and everybody wants to feel like people care about what they're doing, and they're constantly sharing and constantly, like, there was like a saying that I saw the other day on Instagram, and it was like, we are a sad generation with happy photos. And it's so true. It's like, no,
ain't that the truth?
Everyone's like portraying that they have these perfect, amazing, like, Instagrammable lives, or like amazing, like, you know, TikTok vlogs. And it's like, that's just not real life. And like, for some people it works. And it's the same with OnlyFans. Like, there's all this hype of like, OnlyFans can change your life. It can change some people's lives. But at the end of the day, like, if every 18-year-old out there is doing porn, then, which I totally understand, is that's not all OnlyFans is. But I know that when COVID hit, there was like a massive, like, you know, incline to everybody who was like, I'm going to do OnlyFans and that's going to save me. And it's like, it may not. And then you've got this on the internet forever. Like, it's going to follow you. Like, how many people have you heard of who lost their jobs because they got an OnlyFans account? It's like, you know, tons of articles out there about it. I had my, like, personal assistant, like quit, so that, like, because she did OnlyFans.
Oh, really?
And I was like, fuck, you want to be confident, because this
I hope
is
that shit fucking doesn't get out though.
Yeah, you do. And like, I'm now like in myself at a stage where I'm like, would OnlyFans help my career? Like, I don't know. But I'm like, I've spoke to, because it got to a stage as well, we're having so many lockdowns that I was like, fuck, this time's getting tough.
The income as well,
yeah.
you know.
And like, when you work for yourself, you don't get sick pay, you don't, you know, it's a lot harder to get Centrelink and all that kind of stuff. It's like fucking stressful. So I was like, is that a road that I go down? Will that have a positive impact on my DJ career and events, or will that have a negative? You don't know, but it's a fucking gamble.
You don't know, because who is it? Cardi B's doing it?
So many celebrities are doing it.
You know
like,
what I'm saying?
It's like everyone's doing it. So, but they're also in a position where they have such a huge following already, they're only going to make bank. Whereas
yeah, of course.
It's like, you know, when you've got girls who've got 700 followers on Instagram, it's a little concerning, because you're like, I hope this works for you, because it may not, because you just don't have the following yet. And, you know, there's other ways. If you've only got 700 followers on Instagram, I'm not saying that you can't be successful. You definitely can. If you want it hard enough, and if you want it enough, you know, you'll get there. But it's just, my heart breaks for the girls who think that that's the answer, because it's not the answer for everyone. It's, you know, I mean, even I watch Anna Paul's TikToks, and I'm like, fuck, I want to do porn and go all over the world with, you know, my boyfriend and my best friend and my brother who happens to be her boyfriend. We fly our mum everywhere and it's amazing. But it's like they are the 1% who like got there at the right time, did the right things, and now they're living the life and it paid off for them. That's not the road that every girl who downloads it, like it just doesn't happen for everybody.
No, because at that lower level comes with the more you interact, the more you make, and that's what you got into it for in the first place, is the money. Well, that's the majority, right?
Yeah.
The minority of girls and guys that are doing it, I would see that there's like a little bit of ego there, because they're fucking, you know, like knowing that you're sexually attractive and all that kind of stuff, that would blow you up a little bit. But that's the price to pay. Like, it's almost as if, like, you know how they say, like, back in the day, you like sell your soul to the devil, for the thing that you wanted most.
Yeah, or like the Illuminati, like sell your soul.
Yeah, sell your soul, right? Well, it's almost as if it's literally like selling your soul these days. Like, and there's a price figure on it, but it's not so much the price that they're putting on it. It's how many people are willing to pay that price. So it's how many devils you want to sell your soul to. And like, once you've got your photos up and all that kind of stuff,
They're out there.
they're out there.
They're out there.
For family to see, for everybody to see. Like,
Workplaces, like that's what gets me. It's like I know in my heart that if I was to ever do it, I know that every workplace that I have, there's not a chance that there wouldn't be one person. It's like what just happened on maths, you know, like there are going to be people out there with, you know, unfortunately, like hurtful intentions, or even people that don't have hurtful intentions and just don't even think about it. And I'm just like, oh my God, have you seen this? Like, how crazy is this? Because it's just like, I think it's definitely more normalized now. And I think, you know, sex work should be normalized, and it's definitely a work. It's definitely a job. But I don't think that we're there yet, where people are mature enough to not have a reaction when they find out that, you know, their friend from high school is now on OnlyFans
or something,
you know, or like their boyfriend's ex-girlfriend is doing it, or, you know, like their friend down the road, like the bartender. Like, I don't think that we're in a world right now that is mature enough to not be like, oh, I'm not intrigued to have a look at that. Like, which is great, because if you're paying for the content, that's amazing, because that person is providing a service they deserve to be paid for it. But when it's like, you know, people are leaking it, that's where there's the fucking problem.
yeah, and I know there's probably fucking 7 ways to Sunday of like every fucking man and his dog has probably, you know, wondered, oh, there's got to be a way to get this for free, or you know, like where there's value, like people are always going to try and scheme the value out of it. And like, that's fucking rough too, right? Like, how encrypted is OnlyFans? It's like, because there's a paywall, right? But past that paywall, how, like, I know like fucking 100 hackers that could probably get through a paywall. But like, how encrypted is it past that?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people put in their bio, like, you know, these photos are legally mine and whatever, but it's like, realistically, who's going to follow that up? Like, and I hope to God that if anyone, for whatever reason, does have photos leaked or videos leaked or whatever content leaked, that they do, you know, go absolutely like balls to the wall to, you know,
Fight it,
yeah, because you fucking should.
But that's the thing. You did, like, especially if you went into it, right? Let's set a scenario. If you go into it with no money, you put up a bunch of photos, you make a bank. You don't want to have to spend that money fighting to say, hey, these photos are mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it's like there have been so many. I mean, it was a different time, but if Pamela Anderson can't beat it, you know, it's concerning. If Kim Kardashian has struggled so hard to beat it, Paris Hilton, like, these are like the like icons of our time, and they couldn't beat a sex tape.
No.
So how, you know, what chance do people on lower levels have? And I know in like the recent, you know, Kardashians, it's like the whole, you know, we've got like all the money and the resources to burn these people to the fucking ground. Do you? Probably not. And that sucks. But
That's the thing, though.
It's the reality.
Is it like, do they want that though? Do you reckon? Because like it does fucking get views.
I mean, if like, and
I heard that Ray J guy came out and he was like, "There's another sex tape," and Kim was like, "Fuck you."
He did, and then he's now saying that Kim and Chris were in on it the whole time and that they all made a profit off of it. But it's like, even for someone to say that about me, and like I did a poll on my Instagram the other day and I was like, would you do a sex tape if it meant furthering yourself in your career? I was so shocked that it came back. I can't remember the exact percentage, but like to be honest, if a sex tape was going to further my career and I was going to get to the level of like wouldn't think twice, would leak it myself, would do it right now.
Yeah.
But I was surprised at how many people said that they wouldn't, because it was like, why? Like, I don't understand. Like, this is, if you're having a sex tape out there, is going to literally change your life to the levels of, you know, the stars who have, you know, and celebrities that have proved that it kind of works.
Yeah.
I remember hearing like a couple of years ago that one of the Bachelor contestants was looking like he was coming to the end of his 15 minutes and he was like begging girls for someone to leak a sex tape with, because he's like, this is the answer. And luckily nobody did. But I mean, yeah, tough times when you can't find someone to star in a sex tape with you. But
yeah, right.
Like,
dude, pay someone and like,
man,
I'll send you a bunch of people's numbers.
Yeah,
they'll happily do it, guys and girls. Like, fuck me. Like, this is the thing though. The difference between somebody that's ambitious for like a very, very exciting career like yourself, like, than just a regular person. You know, like a regular person, they like.
I mean, yeah, like my background is like, I was a beautician and I worked in surf shops and like worked in retail for like various places.
Yeah, but look where you went after that.
Well,
Promotion.
Yeah. Would I do a sex tape to further myself in those careers? No. But like what I'm doing now, it's like,
you sell heaps of surfboards.
Oh, like, and I mean, it's actually really embarrassing because I look back and I'm like, how did I work in a surf shop? Because I'm just not that girl.
Yeah.
And
well, you had to do it to realize you didn't want to do it.
Yeah, and I loved it, but I'm just not like. I was like literally at the beach, or the last time I was at the beach, and I tried to do a sharkers, and I did like the Travis thing, and I was like, I'll just take myself out. I'm done.
I'll walk myself off the sand on this one.
Legit, I was like, I won't even drown myself. I'll just like go get hit by a car in the car park. But yeah, fucking sucks.
Away from beach view though.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll look in the other direction. But yeah,
that's funny.
It's a different time.
Yeah, but like I guess that's all. You wouldn't have this conversation fucking like that's the sex tape thing. Okay, Pamela Anderson, take that one for example, right? That whole thing with like the Tommy Lee thing, right? That was such a fucking build up for his career too, and for hers, like him, the drummer of Motley Crue. But I think at that time he was
towards the end of him.
Yeah. You know they've gotten back together?
Pam and Tommy?
No, not Pam and Tommy. Motley Crue.
I was going to say.
Yeah, they got back together like last year or the year before for a couple of songs, which was crazy. But he's seeing that Brittany Furlan now. And I thought that there was talks of them having a sex tape. So it kind of just seems like whoever that motherfucker's with, he knows marketing.
Well, like the backstory, have you seen the show, Pam and Tommy?
No.
The backstory is that it was like what they did on their honeymoon, and that basically they didn't pay a contractor. So the contractor went in and broke into their house, stole the safe, and in the safe was the sex tape. So it was like very and like Pamela was very against the show even like coming back. She's like, this is really triggering for me. Like this ruined my career and all this stuff, because like for her, it was like Tommy Lee was like like a massive, and like I can't say anything less than like sick cunt, but everyone was like, oh my God, Tommy's like fucking sick cunt. Pamela Anderson was a slut.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. And that's how they were marketed.
Yeah. But like nobody like, and she lost her case as to there's porn of me on the internet that I didn't consent to because she was in Playboy. And it's like about it, like I could literally talk about this for hours because it's just fucked and it's
That's actually a really good point, though. But I wonder if it was orchestrated by like a marketing team or something. Like hey, Pamela, it would be awesome right now if you just like made it seem like you didn't want this to happen at all. Like, like this is really detrimental, because like, wouldn't that play on other people's emotions to make them feel like, oh no, we do feel sorry for Pamela?
I think now that would be a
narrative.
A narrative. I think back then that it wasn't even thought about. I think it was just such a different time where, feminism was in such a different place, and the way that females are viewed, like, the rights that we have to our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
This was so before like anything like Me Too or like My Body, My Choice, like
True.
So before that, where, it was a man's world and we were just living in it. So I truly don't believe that they had a PR and marketing team. Did Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton? Maybe. But I don't think that Pam necessarily like paved the way for sex tapes. I think that she was just like maybe the first icon that it really happened to. But like now, because she's such a private person, she doesn't even have social media. Like this is like Pamela Anderson, like the most famous person of her time,
running down the beach, Baywatch girl.
Doesn't have social media today. And it's like, why? Like, what? Like, I would be running down the beach every fucking day if I was Pamela Anderson. Like, I would be like, I'm not letting this go. Everything I'd be wearing would be like a red bathing suit. Yeah. But I think, different time.
Like, that's a lot of pressure at that time, because like she was really like, apart from like, name another person before her apart from Marilyn Monroe that really like, that stood out like Pamela Anderson. Like she was really like the GOAT back in her day, right?
Yeah, she was.
And like that kind of pressure, that kind of like...
And being like that stunning, like that comes with a price. And I feel like hers unfortunately was like, her marriage and, her career.
Did she have kids?
Yeah, she has 2.
She has 2.
Yeah.
Now they're older now, obviously.
Yeah. One of them just starred in The Hills.
Oh, right.
Yeah, The Hills reboot.
Both, are they female and a male?
Two boys.
2 boys. Okay, right. Now that's weird. I wonder if it was a female, like a daughter and a son. I wonder if the daughter would have followed in the same footsteps.
I think the boys are both. I think one's more private than the other, but I think they're both kind of going down the like Tommy Lee, maybe like rock star life.
Yeah, okay.
Or like trying to go down. But I mean, like when your dad is Tommy Lee and your mum is Pamela Anderson, you're probably not going to be an accountant. Like
probably not, eh?
Oh,
yeah, wouldn't that be fucking funny though?
Wild.
Lee accountants.
Legit.
Fuck. That's fucking wild. So, what have you got planned coming up soon?
So by the time that this comes out, so I'm about to go to Broome to support Havana Brown. So I'm like stoked about that, which means she's such a fucking icon.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite DJs.
Yeah, so I'm so thrilled. Truly like the highlight of my like DJ life so far. Then I've got a day party that's just been pushed back. Waiting to redo that. High day parties, and then Barcella, which is like my massive annual like hospitality party. It is insane.
Where do you guys host that?
Magnet House. So it takes over Magnet House, Edison and Amplifier.
Holy shit.
Monday. So it's 31st of October this year. So it's on Halloween, which is sick. So it doubles.
Oh,
it doubles as the WA Bar Awards, and then also just like basically hospitality's New Year. So it's basically like got a lot of inspiration from Nocturnal, where that ran for 20 years.
Yeah, I went to one of them once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got invited once and I went as Clark Kent.
Yeah, it was such a sick, Nocturnal was just so amazing. And then they didn't run for 3 years. So we saw an opportunity and we took it. And we're just so lucky that we're in our 3rd year now. It just keeps getting bigger and better. It's going really, really well. So I'm stoked for this year's and to be on Halloween. And I think it'll just be so for the amount of it truly is like 6 months worth of planning that goes into it for one night.
Yeah.
But it pays off every time. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe you're doing Havana Brown. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and so excited.
That's
so
insane.
excited. And then
What date's that?
I think it's the 2nd of July.
Oh fuck, it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I'm going to Sydney, so doing some stuff in Sydney. So
Heck, dude.
that'll be sick.
Have the tickets and stuff gone live for the Havana Brown thing?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So they're available on Lucky Entertainment's
Okay.
website.
Perfect. Well, we'll chuck the link up.
Thank you.
No worries at all. We'll put it all in the bio and stuff.
Love it.
Especially for the hospitality.
Barcella. Yeah.
Barcella, that's fucking cool. That's like Coachella.
Yeah, that was the inspiration. We actually brainstormed a name for 2 years, and we couldn't come up because Nocturnal's such a sick name. We couldn't come up with anything that was like equally as amazing, or it took us a really long time. And then one day, Ben Tour, who's the other owner, was just like, "Let's just do Barcella," and I was like. We were like tossing up between like bar and club, and then we're like, no, it's just gonna be Barcella. It's like it's just, and I think as well, Coachella is so like you just know what it is that we were like, okay, cool, we'll try and do the same kind of like so that people, it's just like a household name of like people know what that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Is that open to the public or is that
So if you work in hospitality, you get a discount, being that it's like for hospitality. The initial like intention behind it was to bring everybody together, and especially because it was like after COVID and everyone had been shut down for so long, was the first year that we did it as just like a real like we're in this together, and like the tagline is like this is hospitality, welcome home. But it is available to public as well, and being Halloween, like I don't think that it won't sell.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah,
it's gonna be lit.
Yeah,
and across 3 bars.
Yeah, 3 venues. So we have so it's 3 venues, 5 stages. We generally do about 35 DJs. We have hosts. We have entertainment throughout the night. It's insane.
Damn,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The whole point was that we really wanted it to be like, I love Nocturnal, and this is not me knocking it because I can only hope to have an event that runs for 20 years and is half as successful as Nocturnal was. But we found that it was, generally the same DJs, was generally pretty commercial, because again, commercial sells. Right. If anyone knows that, it's me. But we really wanted it to be representation of every aspect of hospitality. So, we've got an R&B room. We've got Amplifier turns into Camplify to represent, like the Court and Connies are sponsoring it.
Hey, that's cool.
You've got Habitat Takeover, the Edison. So then you've got like a little like underground, like going on there. We've got like a alleyway that's like dedicated to like mental health and like a chill out zone.
Couches and everything.
Yeah, like strippers are really represented. So it's like we just wanted it to be for everybody so that no matter what venue you worked at, what aspect of hospitality you worked in, that you felt like you had something there. Like there was a draw card for you to want to rock up and that you felt comfortable going. Because I know like, everyone went to Nocturnal, but there weren't as many rooms open, and
when it was hosted at Metros, it kind of seemed like it was like 2 stages. It was like the outdoor, and
like either like rooftop or the main
inside.
stage.
Yeah.
So we just really wanted to make sure that we could use up the space as much as we could, and we've got some really cool acts this year. So it's just getting bigger and better, which is amazing.
Fuck yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying, people. We need to build up the actual the community, and like Perth music scene's coming up. Yeah, and thank you for your input.
Thank you.
It's fucking awesome. It's fucking awesome. Should we wrap this shit up?
Go for it.
100%. So how can people get in contact with you?
So probably Instagram's the easiest. So
you've just got your website sorted?
Yes. So either my website, which is kaytybanks.com, or
and it's spelled Kayty.
Yes. Banks or Kayty Banks on Instagram, which is Kayty Banks.
Beautiful. And Banks & Co as well?
Banks & Co, for all events. so all my events and everything are also on my website. So yeah.
Perfect.
Either.
No worries at all. All right. Well, that was a fucking awesome conversation. Like they went everywhere.
Thank you for having me.
No, it was awesome. Thank you for coming in. I'm sure that we'll probably cross paths again. I'm about to start some live shows as well. So hopefully we can see more of each other in the music scene.
Definitely.
Happy days. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Take me home, I wanna know if you're